guys, it's Boki here from Juki Junkies Home to Juki's Fabric Shop, and today's video is long overdue because I can't believe we haven't made this video already. So today we're going to be talking about the Juki TL machine, specifically the Juki TL18, kind of compared to like the Juki TL 2010. And we're going to be talking about the micro lifter, giving you that close-up visual of it in action. What does it do? What are the perks? How do I know if I need this one or this one? So let's dive into it. So I just wanted to bring some attention to, you might see online that more people talk about the 2010 or that it's more of a popular machine, and that's simply just because before the TL18 QVP wasn't available online, you had to go in store to purchase them. COVID came around, changed that up, so now you can buy both models online and in store. So it's not that it's more popular, it was just easier to get back in the day. So, but we're going to be highlighting specifically about the micro lifter today. Again, watch that comparison video, guys, so you can see the differences between the two models. It's really just the micro lifter, this mounting plate that you'll notice right here, accessories, and then of course the visual difference of this little purple panel right here. But we're going to be talking about the micro lifter and why that would be beneficial to you in your type of sewing. So let's start off on the TL 2010. I want to talk about the presser foot pressure, which is located right up here. And this is a feature that is on all the Juki TL machines. So on the 2010, on the TL18, on the 2000, TL, all of them. All TL machines have your presser foot pressure. I just want to elaborate on this because this has nothing to do with the micro lifter or what the micro lifter does. The micro lifter raises the foot off of the plate so you have a larger clearance for thicker materials. Presser foot pressure is controlled by this knob right here, and that literally just controls how much pressure is being applied. So think about it in terms of, you know, this function going up and down, right? It's always going to go up and go down and touch the fabric. But when you control this, is there going to be a feather amount of pressure on the top, or is there going to be 2 dumbbells worth of pressure at the top? So nothing is changing, it's just how much pressure is being applied to the top of that foot, top of this function, all right? So the little window right here, the bottom is gonna signify more pressure. So if you're working with very silky things, lace, organza, very thin types of materials, naturally you're gonna wanna apply more pressure because it's very thin and there's less to fill out that space between the V-dogs and the presser foot. Then on the opposite spectrum, if you're working on straps or if you're doing heavier types of projects, you know, putting your bags together, going through those layers, working with your zippers, even doing your machine binding, you're going to want to release that pressure. So the middle is a very good, happy place for just medium types of projects. And then when you get to those bulkier projects, you're going to want to bring that little blue bar up more in between this top dot and the middle dot. Here is where it's going to be a happy place for you to put your presser foot pressure when you're working with thick materials, and that can be controlled on both machines. All right, so just so you guys understand how that plays a part into when you're working with thicker materials. So I just want to say, don't get it twisted. The TL 2010 can definitely do some heavy, serious layers, my friends. Like, this machine can do a lot. The TLs can use up to a size 18 needle, so they can really, you know, get the job done and work with a lot of thick layers. The micro lifter is just to make your experience with heavier layers easier and off of those really bumpy parts. So I just want to show you, for example, this is 2, 4, 6, 8 layers of a pretty, I would say like a medium, light medium weight kind of denim. It's very chunky woven, has a really good thickness to it. So there is no problem with the machine sewing over something like this. No problem at all. You can hear it's not very loud. There's no hesitation, and the stitches look incredible too. Remember, this is a very chunky woven, so it's kind of hard to see that stitch quality there, but it looks amazing, and it's a very strong stitch. We got no problem there. It looks beautiful on the back, and you know, it can handle that. It can handle cotton or canvases, cork, leather, no problem whatsoever. It's those areas where you kind of fluctuate between thicknesses, right? So this is one even playing ground, one same level of consistency here. So when you find yourself working with jeans, okay, for example, I kind of try to make my own little mock-up of a pair of jeans. So here would be the seam of your jeans, right? And then at the bottom of the jeans, this is the inside fold of the denim. You would have that fold that gets folded over 2 times, right, to create that bottom cuff. So here we're working with one kind of consistent layer, and then you get here, and now you're sewing over more layers because you're sewing over the 2 extra layers of the seam. this kind of transition is where the micro lifter is going to be beneficial to you, because when you go over that thickness, the machine is going to struggle. It's going to hesitate. It's going to kind of feel like you're almost about to break the needle. That's when on the TL18 you're going to turn on the micro lifter, and I'll show you guys that, and it's going to help go over that bump a lot smoother. Then you can put it right back down and continue sewing with no problem. So let's just see how the TL 2010 handles something like this. All right, you guys, so let's just see how this handles it, all right? So we're just gonna get to that heavy part where all the seams are, and we're gonna see how the machine acts with this little real hard bump that's right here. So let's see. So you see how it's getting caught right there? It's getting stuck, it's not going anywhere. Just kind of sewing in place. This is exactly the moment where the micro lifter would come in. I'd be able to raise up this foot up above it, so that way it would actually feed it through. Because watch what happens. You see how automatically when that's off, it's already started feeding it better? That's what the micro lifter is for. So let's go on the TL18 and try this out. Now that we're on the TL18, the point of the micro lifter is not just turning it on when you're at that point of, you know, a hard moment. I'm going to turn on the micro lifter before I get to that point, just because this is thicker and there is tension here. So I'm going to alleviate the micro lifter already to have a little bit more wiggle room in there, so I don't have to necessarily just do it in that spot. Because what's the good? You're going to get there, it's already going to be jammed, it's going to be sewing in place, and then, you know, you don't have your beautiful consistent stitches all the way through. So we're going to turn it on prior, so it's located at the upper left-hand side of the machine, and when you start unscrewing it, it's going to feel very loose at first, and then you're going to start feeling there be more tension because you're going to see the little gray rings. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how far it goes up. Red means stop, so when you get to the red, that means that's the most it's going to go up. Do keep in mind that with certain projects, if you put it all the way up to its maximum, that's also not a good amount of pressure, because you're giving there too much wiggle room between here and here. Just like your pressure for pressure, it's a deeper understanding of how the machine is going to act with those fabrics. So if you're going to release too much pressure, too much give between the foot pedal. So this is the foot all the way down, right? So look at all that wiggle room that's underneath there. All right. So if just, for example, here's something thinner, right? So if I was going to do something like this, this would not be good. It's just going to literally sew in place. It has nothing to hold on to and grab the fabric through. So, you know, there's no pressure. It's literally just slipping and sliding. So you want to make sure that that's another thing that you look out for. So I'm going to put mine about halfway right now. All right. And then that should help a pretty big difference in that little hump that we just experienced. So let's go through this with the TL18. That micro lifter is activated. I'm going to get to that hump. Move this little guy. And you can already tell that I didn't have that stuck in motion, kind of felt like the needle was going to break moment there. And that was much, much smoother. If I wanted to have an even smoother experience here, I could have raised it up a little bit more prior to hitting on that hump. But just noticing, bringing it to that halfway point, it made that much of a difference. Some other really helpful applications where the micro lifter would be, you know, a good helping hand is straps. I feel like straps is something that I get constant emails and phone calls about. They can just be really hard to work with. They get really dense when you have stabilizer in them, and the denser the fabric, the harder it is to just work with. So there's a lot of other factors that go into when you're getting skip stitches, like needle size and things like that. But of course, having the micro lifter create that extra release of pressure, because it's your pressure, and then making it go up just enough where this can feed through better, you're going to notice your stitch quality improve significantly, as well as that kind of puckering that we see sometimes. So when you're doing bag making, also you'll find those moments of where you have hardware and it's getting attached to the bag. So all of a sudden it'll be one smooth surface and the machine's doing great and chugging along. And then it gets to that part where the zipper meets into the seam, or it gets to that part where the hardware gets into the seam. And it's like, oh no, the machine feels like it's struggling and you feel it having a hard time, and then you get skip stitches. Those are those moments where the micro lifter is gonna make the biggest difference for you. I always tell my customers, it's the difference between getting over the seam and not getting over the seam. So you can definitely work around it, but it's nice to have that extra control, that extra power to be able to push through those layers. May it be one consistent, really thick layer, or that moment when it gets very, very thick. So my bag makers love this. That's why when you guys give us a call and we're trying to match make you with the right machine, we'll usually go with the TL18 just because that micro lifter allows you a little bit of extra room for growth. So it's not always about, you know, what can the machine do right now, but also giving yourself some room to grow. When it came down to me to decide what machine I wanted, I was in between these two guys. I was like, 2010, TL18, I don't really do bags that often, but I want to do bags often. So I went this way because I didn't want to feel limited at all. Don't let the accessories be the reason why you choose one machine over the other. You can always buy those unless they're truly, truly helpful to you. But having that extra function it's very helpful. I use it in quilting even when I do machine binding. That is a moment where I'll use that as well, just because I want a really flat and smooth binding experience as well. So it is so helpful, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna do a little visual just really quickly of the micro lifter all the way up so you guys see how much wiggle room there is under that plate, like a nice little close-up of that, because that just makes such a big difference. You'll see it with it down, how nothing can fit underneath it, and then with the micro lifter all the way up, there's such a big clearance in between. So in a nutshell, you guys, it is so nice to have that extra helping hand, that extra level of control. I hope this kind of helps understand how that application would be beneficial to you in the type of sewing that you do. If you don't do bag making, you might be really happy with the 2010, but if you need that extra assistance, always feel free to pick up the phone, give us a call, 813-661-9000, or send us an email at sewingmachines411 at gmail.com and send us anything over, and we'll help you out in making sure you're in the right place. All right, so feel free to comment down below, what are your favorite features about this machine, or maybe an instance when the micro lifter really saved you, right? Like, let us know, tell the people how that micro lifter has really helped you get through that project. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. We are posting every Sunday some new content for you guys, so make sure you stay up to date on those things. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you're subscribed, like, comment, share, do all that fun stuff, and we'll see you soon. Bye.